It's like Leno. That's good. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It should start this week. No, I just told Sam. I have I'm supposed to buy it. That's 2 or 3 days. I think she'll decide that.
We just ask that all the nominees head out into the hall, please. We're going to get started in a couple of minutes.
Just waiting for my cue from the back of the room. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite you to please stand as we welcome the nominees for this year's awards. Well, what do you think? Here we have our nominees for the 2019 Stittsville Volunteer Awards. I ask that you please remain standing while Sophia Pierce joins us up front to sing our national anthem.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land,
amazing. I think, Sophia, do you want to maybe just be the MC for the night? I'm going to just go home. That was so great. Please, everyone, take a seat. Wow. What a way to start off the night. That was incredible.
You need her in the Idol.
You need her in Ottawa Idol. Yes, you do, Eldon. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the annual Stittsville Volunteer Awards. My name is Tricia Owens. I'm one of the morning anchors for CTV Morning Live and 580 CFRA. You want me to use the microphone? And I'm delighted to be here serving as your MC for tonight. Is that better? Can you hear me better? There we go. My husband and I actually moved to Stittsville a little over 2 years ago. We love this community. I've taken a few exercise classes in here, maybe fallen off one of the Bosu balls. Anyway, we love it. We're happy to be here tonight to celebrate the wonderful people that make Stittsville such a great place to live. And so thank you all for coming out here. Before we begin, I'd like to take a moment to welcome and thank today's special guests, nominees, their families, and friends. So, of course, thank you to our anthem singer, Sophia Pierce, our piper, Jordan McConnell, and our photographer, John Brummel. Well, today's awards are a very special tradition in the Stittsville community, starting way back in 1990, so that's nearly 30 years ago when they were known as the Goulburn Appreciation Awards. Since then, the awards have highlighted the contributions of so many outstanding Stittsville volunteers. We're lucky to be joined tonight by many winners from previous years. So let's just take a moment to think about some of the amazing events and things that happen in our community as a result of volunteers. Just about every single thing that we cherish as a community depends on volunteers. So we're talking about the annual Christmas parade, neighborhood movie nights, building the Johnny LaRue Arena, sports teams, fundraisers, neighborhood rinks, parent councils, community cleanups, and of course the list goes on and on. Tonight's event itself is happening thanks in large part also to volunteers. The awards are organized by Councillor Glenn Gower's team, guided by a steering committee made up of a wide range of local volunteers who help to evaluate the nominations and select the winners in each category. Certainly not an easy task as we introduce the nominees to you in just a few minutes. So before we do that, I'd like to welcome tonight's guest speaker, Marie Eveline. She is Executive Director of Volunteer Ottawa, is a highly motivated leader with over 40 years experience in the not-for-profit sector, primarily at the national level, believing that real change happens at the community level through the efforts of volunteers committed to making a difference. She joined Volunteer Ottawa in 2015. So ladies and gentlemen, please a warm welcome to Marie.
Thank you. Hope that's working. What an honor it is to be here this evening as Stittsville recognizes the enormous contribution its volunteers make. When I was asked to speak just for a few minutes, I jumped at the chance because, quite frankly, I love talking about volunteers and the difference they make in our lives. Because without volunteers, we wouldn't have many of the programs we currently have in the city of Ottawa and in Stittsville. As mentioned, I've been Executive Director of Volunteer Ottawa for the past 5 years. And over those years, I've been constantly humbled by the depth of commitment that individuals, organizations, and companies in this city give through volunteering. For over 60 years, Volunteer Ottawa has helped not-for-profit organizations find volunteers and help volunteers find opportunities they're seeking. We make a match between the two. Annually, we post over 40,000 volunteer opportunities on our website. We assist over 400 not-for-profit organizations, and we have 12,000 individuals in our volunteer pool. That doesn't seem like a lot of individuals, but these are individuals who've registered, posted their resume, and indicated where they wanted to volunteer, which is astounding given the fact that only 2 years ago we had less than 1,000 individuals in our pool. So we've had a 10,000 increase over 2 years. So that demonstrates the depth of commitment in this city. At a time when the news seems to only give us examples of how we've forgotten what it's like to be good citizens, to show compassion, understanding, and empathy for the lives of others, I am inspired by the examples of generosity covered by the volunteers being recognized here tonight. Volunteers matter. When you volunteer, you are making a commitment to share that most precious of resource, your time, to make the lives better for those who are in need. Volunteering is a driving force in our community, without which we would not have many of the programs or services we take for granted. Programs like Meals on Wheels, Reading Readiness, English as a Second Language, and all the sports activities where we have coaches who help young people get involved in our community. But you know, volunteering isn't just giving to the community. Volunteering gives back to the individual who actually volunteers. I've always been astounded by the stories of individuals who've told me volunteering changed their life. They found a new career, they found a new passion, they found a new reason for living by giving back to the community. Whether it's young people who are looking for career opportunities, who are trying to see what they might want to do in the future, and I thank goodness for the required volunteering high school component, because you know what? I'm firmly convinced that if we get volunteers young, we'll have them for life. So if they get the bug when they're in high school or even elementary school, which we have a lot of younger volunteers now who go out with their families to volunteer, we figure that if they do that, they'll be a volunteer up until their senior years. Volunteers are also senior citizens who want to give back and share their life experiences. They're also new Canadians who want to experience our culture and perhaps get an idea of what it's like to live in Canada. So it's always a two-way street. Volunteers win, and the individuals who are receiving the volunteer help win as well. Ottawa has the distinction of being one of the top 2 cities in the country in terms of volunteer hours contributed annually, an astonishing 55 million hours a year. Every time I use that figure, people think, okay, you must have got it wrong. It can't be 55 million hours, but it is. That is an astounding number, and I think it demonstrates the way Ottawa has always been and continues to be, not only in emergencies like the recent tornadoes and flooding, but in the day-to-day needs that individuals in our community require assistance with. That is when the needs of the most vulnerable are met. That is when volunteers, who are the unsung heroes, who don't do it for the recognition, but do it because it makes a difference in the lives of the individuals who need their help. It's a key component of our civil society. As Ottawa works on its new vision for the future, its new official plan, it has to look no further than the volunteers recognized tonight. You demonstrate the kind of city we all want to live in, the city that makes a difference. And while I know you choose to volunteer selflessly and without expectation of being recognized or rewarded, this evening is for you. Because you know what? You do make a difference. Congratulations, thank you, and keep on volunteering.
Thank you so much, Marie. That was really inspiring. As someone who works in news, I can attest to the fact that it's all negative things that we seem to be talking about and that make headlines, and so it's really nice when we can pause and reflect on the positivity that exists in our world. So with that, I am now going to read out the bios of each of our nominees. I invite them to come forward, collect a certificate, and please pause for a quick photo op. So as I'm announcing your name and reading your bio, if you could please come forward. So in the category of Youth of the Year, Jessica Hempstead. Jessica is a 10th grade student at Paul Desmarais Secondary School in Stittsville. For years, Jessica has been volunteering at both her school and the Stittsville community at large. Jessica is the individual behind Magasin Gratuit, an event she organized with her teachers and peers that provides less fortunate families with Christmas gifts and clothing for their children. She has also organized a free Mother's Day breakfast for the community. Jessica was the lead on an Olympic activity day for 5th grade students, where she directed various student volunteers and teachers in order to make the day a success. When she's not volunteering at school, Jessica is a swimming coach for young children in the community. Amazing. In the category of Senior of the Year, Eldon Fox. Eldon has been involved with the Kiwanis Club in the community for many years. During his time as president, he started Kiwanis Idol, which later changed to Ottawa Idol, an annual event created to help youth get into the music business. This popular event has featured many Stittsville musicians, some of whom have gone on to careers in music. With Eldon's determination, these young adults have received a solid foundation to pursue their artistic dreams. Years and years ago, I met Eldon when we were covering Ottawa Idol, and every now and then he likes to put the picture up on my Facebook page and remind me of our history. Anyway, thank you so much, Eldon. Barry Gray. Barry is a retired photojournalist and editor residing in Stittsville. He's known for his talent for photography as well as his volunteer presence in the community. Barry has acted as a team manager with the Stittsville Minor Hockey Association and helped maintain the outdoor skating rink in his own neighborhood. He has also volunteered his time to many other organizations, including CHEO, busy guy at the telethon, and the Ottawa Dog Rescue. He's an active board member of the Stittsville Village Association, as well as a judge for the National Newspaper Awards. When Barry has free time, he enjoys volunteering at the Habitat for Humanity Restore on Iber Road. Thank you so much. In the category of Teacher of the Year, we have Nicole Charret, who is unfortunately unable to join us this evening, but we're going to read her bio as well and pay tribute to the work she does. Nicole is a second grade teacher at A. Lauren Cassidy School. Popular among both students and parents, Nicole is known for going beyond the curriculum. She's often found teaching her second grade students civic duties like keeping the community clean. She encourages parent involvement and is welcoming to all. Curtis McNeil. Curtis has been teaching at Sacred Heart Catholic High School since it opened 20 years ago. As a phys ed teacher, he's the founder of many Husky athletic traditions linked to the school's football and basketball teams. He's the organizer of the year-end Sports Awards Assembly and Luncheon at the school, promoting inclusion and healthy living among students. Curtis has also acted as a guidance counselor, guiding students through important life decisions. When he's not teaching, Curtis participates in the Holy Spirit Catholic Parish, where he's organized a basketball free throw tournament for the community, and he's demonstrated amazing leadership through music at masses. Thank you so much. Nominated in the category of Business of the Year, Canada Stittsville Community Voice. This relatively young newspaper has played a big part in maintaining the presence of print newspapers in the Canada Stittsville area. After Metroland ceased publication of the Stittsville News, Canada Stittsville Community Voice launched their own community newspaper, led by Michael Wooleck, and under the leadership of editor Patrick Aguccioni, the Canada Stittsville Community Voice continues to grow and serve those who prefer their news in print. Certainly very important to have a community newspaper highlighting the amazing events and news of any community, so that is wonderful. I love it. This is Stittsville's version of the paparazzi, right? Now you guys know what it's like to go to record. Okay, Point of Grace Dance Company is also nominated in this category. Over the past 6 years, this organization has dedicated their spring competitive showcase to support charities. For many of those years, they donated funds to Tyson's Mission to a Million, a charity led by Stittsville's Tyson LaFave in support of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. This year, their spring competitive showcase was entitled Dance for Diabetes and was dedicated to the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation. By supporting this cause, Point of Grace has been successful in spreading awareness for type 1 diabetes throughout the community. That's amazing. Thank you. Next, we have the Sweet Room Bakery Boutique. As an Ottawa Carleton Life Skills partner, the Sweet Room has had a major impact on the community. The bakery sells impact cards, which are handcrafted greeting cards created by participants of the Ottawa Carleton Life Skills program. Owner Renee Saunders takes the time to greet and catch up with participants of the Life Skills program when they come by the Sweet Room to drop off new cards and collect funds, as well as introduce them to her customers. By selling these special cards and taking the time to interact with the participants, she's successful in promoting inclusion and awareness of developmental disabilities in the community. Thank you so much. We now like to introduce the nominees in the category of Volunteer Organization of the Year, which is a new category this year, and we begin with the Bell Warriors Football Club. It's been a part of the community for many years. This club offers touch and tackle football at affordable prices for members of the Stittsville Canada community. They promote inclusivity by offering football to both boys and girls, no matter their body type or level of athleticism. Parent and community participation are encouraged to fill board member and coach positions. The Bell Warriors also offer free football clinics for youth in the community, making it easy for the whole community to enjoy the sport. They also promote civic duty and responsibility for all their players. Certainly very important. Next, we have Families First Community Cancer Support, created by Fringewood residents and their friends. This group originated from a washer tournament held in Fringewood since 2010. In 2012, a regular participant in the tournament, Dave Markle, lost his battle with cancer. That year, they decided to dedicate the tournament to him, and it soon evolved into Families First. This volunteer group raises money to provide financial support to families directly affected by a cancer diagnosis in the community. Currently, the money from the washer tournament is used to provide affected families with money for things like groceries and gas, but Families First hopes to expand and help families in other ways, such as covering the cost of cancer medications. Thank you. We would now like to introduce the nominees for the Roger Griffith Memorial Citizen of the Year, beginning with Michelle Carroll. Michelle has been a volunteer in Stittsville for 22 years. She volunteered regularly at her children's school, was a Sparks and Brownies leader, as well as a volunteer with the Canada Ballet School and New Star Children's Theatre Group. Aside from volunteering for these organizations, Michelle enjoys volunteering with the Heart and Stroke Foundation and Toy Mountain. She spent time helping at Granite Ridge Long-Term Care and Holy Spirit Church, even attending staff meetings at Holy Spirit. Most recently, Michelle lent a helping hand to the Ottawa flood relief efforts. Thank you, Michelle. Next is Barry Gray. In addition to his nomination for Senior of the Year, Barry is also nominated in this category. As we heard earlier this evening, Barry can often be seen with his camera, capturing the people, places, and moments that are important to our community. Thank you, Barry. Next, Tanya Hine. For 14 years, Tanya has been a leader with the Stittsville Village Association, taking the lead on organizing both the Parade of Lights and Canada Day. She's a regular volunteer with the Goulburn Museum as a member of the board of directors, and she's also a volunteer with her Neighborhood Watch. She's a parent representative at A. Lauren Cassidy and a volunteer with the Stocking Project, and recently with the Crabapple Blossom Festival. Tanya has also spent significant time volunteering as a big sister and quilting for Victoria's Quilts. Thank you so much, Tanya. Next, we have Alexia Jimenez. Alexia has been heavily involved in the Stittsville community for many years. She's the founder of the Chuckle Club at Stittsville's Community Bible Church, which is a group for mothers and their young children to meet others and get out of the house. She's also the organizer of the Saturday morning bike days for ladies, which take place on the Trans-Canada Trail. Furthermore, Alexia has organized Quiz for a Cause night alongside her husband. She serves lunch at Frederick Banting Alternative School and volunteers for the Matthew House. Next, we have Dave Lee. Over the years, Dave has volunteered as a coach and referee-in-chief with the Goulburn Basketball Association, acting as a positive role model for all the children he's coached. This year, Dave organized a 3-on-3 basketball tournament to raise money for a Stittsville resident who needed funding for medical expenses. He continues to volunteer regularly and is often joined by his family. Dave also plays bass in the popular local band, the Burning Halos. That's a fun fact. Thank you very much, Dave. Next, Teresa Kadri. Teresa has been a member of the board of directors for the Stittsville Village Association. She's volunteered with the Stittsville Lions Club, the Stittsville Rotary Club, and the Stittsville Food Bank as the chair. With the Rotary Club, she organized Trivia Night and helped fundraise for the Rotary Peace Park. Teresa was the lead organizer of a women's recognition event in the community and is still a strong advocate for women's rights. In the 2018 provincial election, Teresa ran as the Liberal candidate in Stittsville, becoming the first Stittsville resident to represent a party in her own riding in many years. So now that we have met all of the incredible nominees, it is now time to announce the winners of this year's awards. Obviously a very difficult job for the steering committee. Here we go. Youth of the Year winner, Jessica Henstead. So we're going to ask all of the winners again to come forward, please, for a photo op. Congratulations, Jessica. The Senior of the Year award goes to Barry Gray. Congratulations, Barry. The Teacher of the Year award goes to Curtis McNeil. Oh, you got to make sure you get that shot. Social media, come on now. Congratulations, Curtis. The Business of the Year award goes to the Sweet Room Bakery Boutique. Congratulations, Renee. Volunteer Organization of the Year goes to Families First Community Cancer Circle. Congratulations, you guys. It was wonderful. It is time now for the Roger Griffiths Award presentation. Roger was a leading citizen in the Goulburn community who served as town councillor, president of the Legion, and a volunteer firefighter. Each year, a member of the Griffiths family presents the award in this category, so please welcome this year's presenter, Kelly Graham.
Thank you. I'm pleased to be here to represent the Griffiths family for the presentation of the Citizen of the Year Award named after my grandfather, Roger Griffiths. It's a wonderful evening to be in a room full of people, all who share the spirit of community and volunteerism that my family has always embodied and demonstrated, a value that was instilled in me throughout my childhood. And with my grandfather, he was the public speaker, not my side. He was also a great singer. He was part of the community choir. He participated in many things in our community. You would have been very pleased to hear Sophie sing for sure tonight. The Citizen of the Year Award was first presented in 1990, 2 years after his death, to recognize the contributions he had made to the community. As noted, he was served on council, he was president of the Legion, but he was also an avid sports fan. He also participated in many recreation programs, helping to support the first community center in our community. He coached hockey, he supported baseball, he was always at the baseball diamond or at the rink. The award that bears his name is presented to an individual who best exemplifies community involvement and participation. This year's winner is described by the nominee as someone who has a real passion for community building, being part of many associations and on boards. She spends many hours volunteering and teaching her family the value of giving back, cleaning parks and supporting community events as a family, and taking the lead on many of these events, as well as representing on her school council. Fundraising and donations are not to be left off the list. She is part of the stocking project, knitting hats for preemies, quilting for cancer patients, and donating her own hair. I'm told she doesn't talk about her volunteer work unless she's encouraging others to get involved and recruiting new volunteers. So I'm very pleased to present this year's Roger Griffiths Award, Citizen of the Year, to Tanya Hine.
Thank you very much, Kelly, and congratulations, Tanya. Congratulations to all of our nominees and winners this evening. Really amazing night. I would now like to call on Councillor Glenn Gower to come forward for a few closing remarks. Glenn.
Thanks, Tricia. Good evening, everyone. Bonsoir, mesdames et messieurs. And congratulations again to all of this year's nominees and winners. Volunteers are the foundation of so many of the things that we love about our community. I mean, Tricia ran through a whole list earlier of all the things that were established, started by volunteers, and continue thanks to volunteers. Je suis fier de perpétuer cette tradition annuelle. I'm very proud to be able to continue this tradition of honoring the best volunteers in our community. We need to continue. We don't thank these volunteers enough for what they do. They're the leaders in our community, and they deserve every thanks they get. To our nominees and winners, you should be very, very proud about what you've accomplished. And I also thought it was great that Tanya had her family up with her, because I think we should all, right now, thank all of the families of the volunteers who were presented with awards and nominations. I know families get roped into helping out, and I know families are very patient, because the volunteers have to attend yet another planning or organization meeting. So thank you to all the families. I know without you, it'd be very difficult for the volunteers to do what they do. I heard a great analogy the other day, and it was that sometimes in communities, it's kind of like a soccer match, where you've got 22 people on the field doing all the work and 22,000 people in the stands just watching. Does that sound a bit familiar sometimes? The healthiest communities around the world, no matter how you measure health, whether it's physical health or mental health or social health or economic health, the healthiest communities all have one thing in common, is that they have lots of people getting involved, lots of people participating, lots of people on that field playing. So tonight, besides honoring the volunteers, it's also the launch of our Get Involved campaign. You see the logo up there on the sign. Many of the groups and traditions in Stittsville would not be possible without volunteers, and they all need lots of people pitching in to make them happen. When I talk to school classes, I love going to grade 5 classes because they've just done a civics curriculum, and they are so eager with so many questions. But one thing that I love to do at the end is I give them a challenge. I say to them, find some way that you and your family can help out. Clean up a park, or help a neighbor shovel the driveway, or fundraise for a cause you love, and come back and tell me about it. That's my challenge to the kids. So I want to do the same thing with this campaign, with Get Involved. It's about reminding and encouraging people to do something. Could be something big, could be something small, but something to impact your community. So I want everybody to think about that just for a second. What is something you can do on your street, or in your neighborhood, at school, at work? I bet you can all think of something, right? And I want you to go out and make it happen. Get involved, and maybe we'll see some of you honored up here in a future year. Before we wrap up, I have a few thank yous. I have a lot of thank yous. First of all, you heard this year we established a new steering committee. They help set the award criteria, evaluate all the nominations, and select the winners. And they've met a number of times over the past few months, and I know their decision wasn't easy, and there was a lot of deliberation. But I wanted to thank them. Many of them are here tonight. So Caitlin Bauer, Kim Bonin, Terry Christopher, Mandy Hambley, Lisa Landry, Anjali Patil, Phil Sweetnam, Keith Toro, Murillo Torres, and Chelsea Walton, who led the group. So thank you. And there are lots of people here tonight who helped out. Merci à tous lesquels, sans lesquels la soirée de ce soir n'aurait pas eu lieu. Marie-Eveline from Volunteer Ottawa for being our guest speaker tonight. Sophia Pierce for the national anthem. Jordan McConnell, our bagpiper. John Brummel, our photographer, a past award winner here. And he celebrated a birthday yesterday too, so happy birthday, John. 45 years old? 70, wow. Well done. And still volunteering. I want to say a big thank you to Tricia Owens. Tricia has a very early morning wake-up call for her job, but she volunteers all the time. In fact, I saw her on the CHIO telethon yesterday, out there as a volunteer herself. Thank you, Tricia. We're lucky to have you in Stittsville. To Kelly, who's here tonight representing the Griffiths family, Chelsea and I had a great coffee with Lynn Griffiths, Roger and Bea Griffiths' daughter, and a great chance to talk to her and really understand how important these awards are to her family. And they really care a lot about these awards, and it's important to them that they participate every year, and I'm glad that that tradition can continue as well. So thank you, Kelly, for being here tonight. I want to thank Kevin Chance and Julia Chenier and the staff here at Cardo Rec Goulburn for all their assistance. And to my team, Amélie, Ashley, Chelsea, and Veronique. It takes a lot of work and a lot of planning to put this together. And with that, we'll wrap up the formal part of the evening. Please stick around and say hello to the nominees and say thank you in person to them. We have some food and drink we're going to be setting up on the side. Merci à tous pour votre participation. Thanks to all of you for getting involved. Have a great night. Thank you.